Hi, I'm Marty Cohn, and welcome to episode 4 of Rotary Cares, a monthly show that answers all your questions about Rotary International. Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers that come together to make positive, lasting change in communities at home and abroad. Established over 110 years ago, Rotary now has 35,000 clubs all over the world. Rotary's motto is service above self, and Rotarians adhere to a 4-way test that answers the questions, is it fair? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? In Brattleboro, we have 2 clubs. We have the Brattleboro Rotary Club that meets every Thursday at the American Legion for lunch. And then we have Sunrise Rotary Club that meets every Wednesday for breakfast, also at the American Legion. Our guest today is District Governor Jonathan Springer. District Governor, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marty. It's a real pleasure to be here.
So let's start out just by asking about you personally. How long have you been a Rotarian?
Well, I first connected with the Ludlow Rotary Club back in 1974 when I was working in Ludlow. I left that club after a couple of years for employment purposes. I reconnected in 1993 with the Windsor Rotary Club, and I've been a member of that club ever since.
Wow, that's a long time. So why did you join Rotary?
It comes right down to our motto, service above self. I have a strong belief that if you're going to be a member of a community, if you're going to work and you're going to live and you're going to raise a family in a community, you should be giving back to that community. And so the service above self motto is very strong for me, and I think Rotary is a perfect venue for giving back to a community.
I can't agree with you more. Right now, you're currently serving as District Governor of Rotary District 7870. I have to ask you, what is a Rotary District?
Rotary District is a group of clubs. In our case, there are 59 clubs in southern New Hampshire, southern Vermont that make up Rotary District 7870. Worldwide, as you said, there are over 35,000 Rotary clubs under the umbrella of Rotary International. As a governing mechanism, the Rotary International has broken those down into approximately 550 districts worldwide. As district governor, I won't say in charge of, but my responsibility is for the 59 Rotary clubs in southern Vermont and southern New Hampshire.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility. So it really begs the question, what exactly does a Rotary District Governor do?
Well, I'm there as an advisor. I'm there as a coach. I'm there to answer questions for any Rotarian, particularly any Rotary Club president, as they go through their year as a president of the club. And they may have problems, they may have questions about global grants or local grants, or they may have problems with inter-club membership issues, so on. And I am their first line of questioning, if you will, along with some others in the district that provides them with advice.
So, that's wonderful for you that you're able to do that. But how did you prepare to be district governor?
I applied several years back to become a district governor. When I was selected, I then went through a 2.5-year training process, if you will.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. I became a district governor nominee designate, if you will, and they started sending me to training sessions throughout what we call a zone training, I've been to 3 of those. I've been to San Diego for an international training assembly by Rotary International. So I came up through the chairs for the last, 3 years now. But for 2.5 years before I became district governor, I was learning all about Rotary, Rotary International, and working with people in our own district here that had been going through the chairs before me.
That really is a major commitment, time commitment. So how does the district relate to the clubs? I mean, so it's Rotary International district clubs, or is there something in between?
No, well, there is, but that's the real. There's also a zone, but that has nothing to do necessarily with the clubs, if you will. The focus of Rotary and Rotary International is at the club level. Those are the real key components of Rotary International. Without the clubs, without the individual members, Rotary wouldn't accomplish anything, and they understand that. But by the same token, Rotary International in Evanston, Illinois, can't manage 35,000 clubs very effectively. That's where the district comes in. If you look at it as a sort of a government structure, if you will, Rotary International is the national government, if you will. Rotary District is like the state government, if you will, and the district, the clubs are at the local level, either city or town. It's sort of that same philosophy, if you will. So the district is an intermediary between the clubs and Rotary International.
Okay. Now, as you know, now that you've been sitting as district governor now for well, actually, it's like half a year, right?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
just over 6 months.
What do you see as the function of Rotary, the organization? I'm not asking about you particularly, but what do you see as the function of Rotary?
I would say that the real function of Rotary is to do good in their own community. And beyond that, also help in the region, within our district, and worldwide. You know, without going into a whole lot of detail, I will tell you that the real focus of all Rotary clubs is within their own community. When I first started my journey as district governor, I asked all of the club presidents in my district to give me certain information. And I asked them to tell me how much money their fundraisers had raised during the prior year, how many Rotary volunteer hours they had put in, and how many service projects they had done during that year. Now, of the 59 clubs in the district, I think I got responses from 48 or 49. That showed me that, for instance, in our district, in southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, last year, the Rotary clubs raised about $1.8 to $1.9 million in fundraising.
1.8 to 1.9 million dollars?
That's correct.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
They also did over 225 service projects, major service. Well, some of them minor, some of them really major within that community, the district, and they also volunteered over 75,000 hours in community service. Now, going back to the money. Probably the vast majority of that stays in the district. There's no question about that. The Brattleboro Rotary Club goes out and does a fundraiser. They have a big car show, for instance, okay? Most of the money that they raise for that car show stays in the Brattleboro area. It goes to whatever club, organizations that they feel are important in Brattleboro, whether it be Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Meals on Wheels, senior citizen programs, youth programs, scholarships in high school. That's where that money stays. They always send some of it into worldwide service or global grant projects for various things that Rotary International encourages.
Wow. Okay. So Rotary does a lot of good work.
It does a tremendous amount of good work.
And that's their function. Well, let's take a quick break for this message from Rotary International. We'll be right back.
It is the world's largest, biggest service organization.
Rotary is 1.2 million members strong, and when you have an idea and you want to support a group of people or an individual, there'll always be somebody in Rotary who will join you in your quest.
I have found Rotary to be filled with people who are engaged and interested in a diverse array of subjects and people.
It's love. You gotta love people. You gotta love service. You have to love this great organization. I've never met a Rotarian that I didn't get that feeling from.
Rotary is service, and you don't come to Rotary to get something out of it. You come to Rotary to put something into it, and once you've put something into it, you will get something out of it, but it won't be what you expect. It'll be better.
We're back. Welcome to Rotary Cares, the monthly show that answers the question, what the heck is Rotary International? Our guest is Rotary District Governor Jonathan Springer. District Governor, what are your goals as District Governor?
My primary goal this year, Marty, has been to grow membership in our district. That's number one for most of Rotary. Over the last several years, membership throughout Rotary in the United States has been sort of on a decline. I think that Rotary is probably the preeminent service organization in the world. They do great work in each and every one of their communities. And I think that by growing our membership, we can do even more work. So that's my primary goal. It's also my goal to get Rotarians out of their comfort zone and to meet other Rotarians within their region so that they can trade ideas on both how to make their clubs more dynamic and what kind of service projects they can do. So those are my main focus right now.
Okay, so in terms of spreading the word, one of the things that you get to do is you travel to every club in the district.
Correct.
And you've gotten to know the clubs. What are some of the successes that you've seen as you've traveled the highways and byways of Vermont and New Hampshire?
Marty, I got to tell you that I've visited 59 Rotary clubs between July 1 and the first week of October. I traveled all over the southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire area, and I met a lot of terrific people. There's 2,100 roughly Rotarians in our district, and I would, without doing a hard count, I would say that probably 1,500 to 1,600 of them were at these 59 meetings. I got to show you an example of what one Rotary Club did in this district a couple of years back. This was over in the Derry, New Hampshire area, which is in the southeast corner of my district, really. Many years ago, about 19 years ago now, a veteran that lived in that community, house burned. And he didn't have the insurance or the money to replace his house. And it was unlivable. His wife moved into a house moved in with their daughter up in Manchester, New Hampshire, and he lived on a shed on the property for 16 or 17 years. Derry, New Hampshire Rotary Club is big on veterans and helping veterans. They, at the behest of one of their Rotarians in the club, raised money and got volunteer labor, volunteer donations. They raised about $50,000. They tore the old house down that had been sitting there for 17 years, and they built that veteran and his wife a brand new house of about 1,200 square feet. That's what Rotary can do. There were other Rotary clubs in the area that helped him out and so on, but that's a big service project. It's very important and very wonderful, but many, many Rotary clubs throughout the district do things like serving senior citizens meals, okay, once a month or once every quarter, those kinds of things, or building a handicap access ramp for somebody that needs it. Those are the types of successes that make me proud to be a Rotarian when I go to visit these clubs.
Those are fantastic. Now the flip side of that, you mentioned the membership and you want to grow the organization. So what is the challenges for the district as you travel around, in terms membership growth probably being one of them?
It is. The thing that we've learned through Rotary in the last few years is that the day of the Rotary Club that my grandfather was in and as a charter member of the Windsor Rotary Club are no longer there. We have to reach out to younger people, more diverse people, working people that have families and so on. So Rotary has tried very hard to give clubs the option of changing their meeting model to make it more flexible for people to get there. And those are the challenges that the Rotary clubs are taking on, and many of them successfully overcoming, growing their membership.
I think it's a challenge for all service organizations to be able to do that. Now, in Rotary, one of the things you talk about these projects for the veteran or the ramps. Those are local projects. The beauty of Rotary is it's also international, and we have that mix of not only helping our local communities but helping our international communities as well. Are there any international projects that you as you travel around come to mind in terms of make you proud to be a Rotarian?
There are many of them. Tell you the truth, we could spend all afternoon talking about them, but a couple of it. This morning, before I left my office, I went on Rotary International. I've been asked to approve a global grant for a project down in Jamaica that has been put together by the Concord Rotary Club in partnership with a Rotary Club down in Jamaica. And we're about to go online with that one. There is an ongoing one right now down in Honduras, actually, also. Over the years, for instance, Ludlow Rotary Club was very heavily involved several years ago with a project called Malika House, wherein they built with partnership in Uganda, and many of the Rotary clubs in this district built a orphanage school over there that is still ongoing. About 3 years ago, past District Governor Tony Gilmore put together a medical international project in Mongolia, and went over there and actually established 5 different medical centers, particularly for operation centers. They're just ongoing all the time, many international projects that clubs on the local level can get involved in.
Again, it's just, so motivating to hear, and, that's why, frankly, why we're doing this show is we want people to just see it's not only here, but all over the world. It's just fantastic. Now, speaking of here, though, we're in Vermont. Paul Harris, who helped found Rotary back in 1905, what is his connection to the district?
Let me back up just one second,
Sure.
because I don't want to leave the impression that everything goes out from the district or from Rotary and never comes back.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Irene storm.
Okay.
Many people may not be aware that past District Governor Jan McElroy put together an international grant and got $400,000 that came into our district to be distributed as aid to people that were impacted by Hurricane Irene. So it does come back. It's not always just outgoing. So, but to your question about Paul Harris, his mother was a native from Wallingford, Vermont. When Paul Harris he was actually born out in Racine, Wisconsin. But because of family dynamics and so on, when he was about 6 or 7 years old, he and his mother and his siblings came back to live with his grandparents in Wallingford, Vermont. And he went to school in Wallingford, and he later went to lived over in Fairhaven area. He actually went to school at the Vermont Academy in Saxons River, and he actually attended school the University of Vermont. So there's a lot of connection with Paul Harris. His grandfather built what is known as the Little Red Schoolhouse in Wallingford, Vermont. And the District 7870 Rotary Foundation now owns that building. And we have people coming from all over the world to see the Little Red one-room schoolhouse in Wallingford, Vermont. And I could tell you stories about what problems Paul Harris got into as a young man, and but he straightened himself out, and after he got out of law school and was working in Chicago, he founded Rotary International, and it's grown to what we know today.
Again, that the Little Red Schoolhouse, I think it's a tribute really to Vermont, and it's something that folks should, as they're going around seeing all the historic sites, that's definitely a place that they should go to as well. So we've talked about the community, we've talked about international. Let's find out a little bit about you. What do you do when you're not running around being district governor?
Well, I'm still employed.
That's good. Okay. That's good.
I have a law practice in Windsor. That takes up a fair amount of my time. Between being district governor and that, it takes up a fair amount of my time. But beyond that, as I've gotten a little older, I've slowed down somewhat. I enjoy playing golf. A close friend of mine and I have a hunting camp up in Barnard, and we like to get up there, although we don't get up there very often. I used to do snowmobiling, stuff like that. I've sort of given that up as I've gotten a little older and so on. And I like puttering around the house. I like just puttering, just working outside. I'm not a gardener. I tell my wife that all the time, but I do enjoy getting out and working outside.
So we've said that you're in the 6th month of your 1-year term. What crystal ball? What's going to happen to District Governor John Springer when he becomes immediate past District Governor John Springer?
Well, in the not too distant future, but I don't know exactly when, I'd like to retire from my law practice. That will give me more time to spend with family. Possibly my wife and I can do some traveling. And I may just follow up on my golf interest a little bit and play a little more golf and that kind of stuff. But I'll still be involved with Rotary. I'll still be involved with the district level as a past district governor, as a mentor for district governors coming up behind me, and service to the community and to the district.
Now, do the past district governors, do you guys talk? Do you get together? Are there opportunities for you to get together?
There are opportunities. We can get together at various training programs. The district always has what we call a district assembly, where we provide training for presidents of the club, for secretaries, for treasurers, for any member of any Rotary Club. And the past district governors can meet and partake of that. We have an annual district conference. The past district governors are always invited to that. And we also serve on various committees throughout the year at the pleasure of the district governor, obviously. So we have an opportunity to interact on those.
So there's still a place for you in Rotary.
I hope so.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the annual meeting. Now, this year's annual meeting is going to be in Burlington, Vermont. What's going to happen in Burlington?
We're teaming up with the District 7980 out of Southern Connecticut to do a joint district conference. It's going to be located at the Hilton Hotel, which is on the waterfront in Burlington. It's June 1, 2, and 3 is the official conference. That's Friday through Sunday noontime. The Friday highlight is going to be a dinner cruise on the Spirit of Ethan Allen on Lake Champlain that evening. We have some dynamic speakers coming, including a woman by the name of Sylvia Whitlock, coming in from California. She was, I'll say the first, but maybe in time she may have been the second woman to join Rotary. Back in 1986-87, she was a key player in the case that went to the U.S. Supreme Court, where Rotary had to change their thinking about allowing women into Rotary. She's a past district governor. She's a dynamic speaker. She's going to be our keynote speaker on Saturday night. We also have the doctor who just retired as the chief medical examiner for the state of New Hampshire, coming in to be speaking, and he's going to focus on the opioid epidemic and try to give some strategies about how he thinks we can start getting a handle on that huge problem. And we'll have other speakers. We'll have the four-way speech contest by high school students. We've got the youth exchange for our international youth going to be there from both districts. And it will just, we also have as an option to be able to go up on Thursday night and do a dinner train from Burlington to Middlebury and back again. And that should be a lot of fun for Rotarians just to get together and network and learn from each other about things that are going on in Rotary.
And again, having attended the district conference in the past, it's an opportunity to really have the fellowship as well as get the knowledge and get a lot of ideas what other clubs are doing. So it's really a fun time. Last question, real fast. You got to answer this one. What's the best part about being district governor?
The people I meet.
Okay, good answer, good answer. Well, District Governor John Springer, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. I'd like to give a shout out to Sunrise Rotarian Kevin Yeager, who's doing all the magic behind the camera. I want to thank BCTV and especially Roland Boyden for helping us bring this show to you every month. If you have any questions, concerns, or even ideas for future shows, send them to info@BrattleboroRotaryClub.org, info@BrattleboroRotaryClub.org, spelled out. I'm Marty Cohn. Thanks for watching.